Hi there, my dear friends. Welcome to another edition of Diamonds in the Dust. Uh, uh, I want to ask you a question. Has anybody ever told you that there is greatness in you? That you are capable of accomplishing significant things in your life? Did anyone tell you that? Now, let me ask you a second question. Where were you in 1976? 1976. If you were not born then, no worries. Because the story I'm about to tell you started in 1976. It is not my story. At that time, I was in primary school, what is called grade school in some parts of the world. And I was nearing completion of primary school. It was in that year that somebody gave a book. It was like a mentor to John C. Maxwell, one of my heroes, a leadership guru, one of the best in the world. That book was titled The Greatest Story Ever Told. Greatest story ever told. John was very excited and he was eager to read the greatest story ever told. But when he opened the book, to his greatest surprise, the pages were blank. But he found a note in the book, and the note was, John, your life is the greatest story ever told. Only you can write it. John, your life is the greatest story ever told. Only you can write it. Wow. Take away John and put your name. Let it read like this. Amos, your life is the greatest story ever told. Only you can write it. Fit your name and put that sentence and see how it sounds. Your life is the greatest story ever told, and only you can write it. So last year in 2023, I bought a copy. I ordered for a copy of a book by John C. Maxwell with the title, The Greatest Story Ever Told. I was very excited too to read the book, The Greatest Story Ever Told by John C. Maxwell, as you can see. But when I opened the book, behold, the pages are blank. I mean, this is a book, as you can see, the greatest story ever told, but the pages are blank. As I just showed you, there is nothing inside. But I also found a note, which I'm going to share with you. The note that is manually written. It's manually written and signed. Let me read it. I told you that I like reading books, and that as our journey continues, I will read. Because I know at times you don't have time to read the books. At times you will not even have access to some of the books. Even though if you stick with me, I will make sure, if you are serious, I will make sure you have a copy of almost every book that I will read or I will share with you. So this is what is written in this greatest story ever told. Dear friend, the greatest story ever told can only be written by you. I want you to fill these blank pages with intentional acts of kindness that add value to people. I want to repeat that second sentence. I want you to fill these blank pages with intentional acts of kindness that add value to people. Every day, let your words be a record of how you are making a positive difference in the lives of others. Start now and intentionally make a great story with your life. Your friend, John C. Maxwell. The greatest story ever told. Every day, make a difference. Add value to the life of someone. That is the story. That is the message that was given to John C. Maxwell. And I want to pick out 5 things that John C. Maxwell has gone ahead to do just by the fact that somebody told him, there is greatness in you. You have a life ahead of you. And you can write the story. And writing the story is not actually about writing, even though John actually went ahead and he has written close to 100 books. I bought about 30 of them. I have read about 21 of John C. Maxwell's books. One of them, very nice. The 21 indispensable qualities of leaders. And one of the things about leaders is that leaders lift people. Leaders do everything to add value to people, which is what I want to do until my last breath. That each day I add value to anybody who listens to my voice. But John, because of that story, because of that message that was given to him in 1976, which in 2 years' time, it will actually be about 50 years. He went ahead to lead a life of personal responsibility for his life story. He took personal responsibility for his life story. I want you to note this, number 1. Because of that message, he took personal responsibility for his life story. And what does this mean? John Maxwell realized that he was the author of his own life story, just like you. The blank pages symbolize the unwritten potential of his future, motivating him to take ownership of his actions, decisions, and their outcomes. This led to a lifelong commitment to intentional living and purpose-driven leadership. John Maxwell has become a remarkable person in leadership. Number 2, focus on legacy and significance. Legacy, as I want to put it very simply, what are you leaving behind? How would you want to be remembered? And of course, in John C. Maxwell's case, this is it. The gift of that particular book inspired Maxwell to think beyond personal success and focus on living a life of significance. He began prioritizing how his life and work could impact others positively, laying the foundation for his philosophy on leadership and influence. A selfless life is a life of legacy. A selfish life is a life where you think too much about yourself. A selfless life is a life that you think more about how you will be remembered. And just at the end of this, I'm going to share a story and tell you something. How would you want to be remembered? Number 3, development of a growth mindset. Because of that particular assignment that was given to John, personal assignment about his life, he now developed a growth mindset. A growth mindset is that mindset that believes that anything is possible. You continue to learn and expand. The symbolism of the blank book spurred John Maxwell to embrace personal growth as a daily discipline. He recognized that writing a meaningful story required continual learning adapting, and striving to reach his full potential, just like you. You have to be open-minded. You have to have what we call a growth mindset, continuously learn and grow. The fourth thing that came with this was clarity in leadership philosophy. When you are told that you have a great assignment in front of you about your life, you now gain some clarity on what to do. The moment clarified Maxwell's vision of leadership as a process of inspiring and empowering others to write their own stories. This reinforced his commitment to servant leadership, mentoring, and equipping others to succeed. Real leaders also work on succession planning, ensuring that in the end, some people can take the relay baton behind you. And of course, the fifth one was the birth of transformative teaching. John C. Maxwell focuses on teaching people, empowering them. This event influenced Maxwell's future teaching on intentionality, goal setting, and living with purpose. It helped shape the principles he would share in his books, speeches, and programs, encouraging millions worldwide to live intentionally and lead effectively. My dear friends, I want to tell you something. If you have a journal, write on that journal the greatest story ever told. The greatest story ever told. And below that sentence, write my story. My story. Then I want you to take some time and reflect. Anything that comes to mind, put it down. This is the reflection. One of the things people don't want to talk about or think about is death. I want to ask you, on the day that you will be lying lifeless and the discussion is about you, how would you want your funeral to look like? How will the discussion be? What would you want to have left behind when you are gone? What will people say about you? That is exactly the meaning of writing your story with your life. You have to live intentionally. You have to be clear as to what is it you want at the end of life. Do you want a life that at the end people will say, yes, indeed, he did it? Just like one of the great journalists in Cameroon who just passed, a great motivational, compassionate person who just passed on to glory. And people are saying, oh, he did it so well. Some people remember him way back in secondary school, high school, and so on. How would you want to be remembered? Remember, your life is the greatest story ever told. And only you can write that story. Do me something, please. I told you before. Do something. Like this video, share it with friends and family, subscribe to the channel, because the number 3 video that is coming will just be something else. I bet you it is on the $1 million presentation. That is the next video, so don't miss it. And then request to be added to my platform. We've created a platform called Empowering Conversations. We are not going to include you on that platform until you ask to be added. So you will need to write either on the YouTube video your comments, or you send an SMS message, or you send an email. Look at this. You can go over in my phone number is on it, my email address. You send an SMS or a WhatsApp message requesting to be added. Our journey together is just beginning, and it's going to be one of the most interesting. Trust me. I know what I am talking about, and I'm ready to take you through.